On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We've got a lot going on. Trump was on Rogan, I think yesterday. I have not listened to the full show yet. Got some great snippets of it. We're going to play all of it. I think I probably got almost 10 minutes of it. Also got a very good thing from O'Keefe Media Group. It's about 7 minutes or so. That's pretty tight, showing some major scandal brewing. We're calling out what they're doing beforehand. We understand that there's going to be a lot of cheating. There's no question about it, guys. It's going to happen. We've got to get our overwhelming numbers out there. I'm going to vote today. And I'm not going to be stupid and take pictures of myself with the sticker and all that nonsense. I might show it to you guys. Hey, here's my sticker. I'm not going to put it on myself. That's just lame. I don't do that. But I am going to vote today. I hate voting. I've hated voting my entire life. I've literally voted twice in my life. Once for Ross Perot, and then it took me a lot of years to finally vote again, and that was the midterm in 2022. This will be my first presidential election since Ross Perot. I didn't vote for Trump either time. I'm just saying, being honest. I hate voting. I'm going and voting. Everybody has to. We all have to. We have to. This one matters. This one matters way too much. Early voting's preferred for sure because day of's probably going to get screwed up. So, folks, I need all your help. I just need your help. I need your help. I need to be like 99% of you guys. I understand you don't want to. I understand you don't want to be on the grid. I understand. I don't want any of that either. I don't put apps on my phone. I'm freaking retarded that way. We have to vote. It needs to be you that casts the vote for your name and social or whatever, right? If you think about it, right? Your identity in the government, the capital letter version of you, it needs to be spoken for by you. That's where I come at it from. The capital letter version of myself, I want it to be my voice that fills its void this time, rather than just saying, I don't agree with what you're doing, and just cross my arms. That's not going to work anymore. No, well, it's not going to work for this election. We'll see what happens next election. I'm not getting ahead of myself. Take this one step at a time. All said, I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight after I drop the girlfriend off. I'll come home. I'll throw on my little video game, and I'll pop on Rogan. I'm going to watch it on Spotify to give Spotify the credit, not YouTube. F-U, YouTube. No offense for the few people that watch me over there. You guys find it. That's cool. A lot of times they make me censor stuff. They've been pretty cool lately. I'll be honest. Not going to be too big of a meanie, but I do feel bad for all the people that are, I'm noticing a lot of people, like a good guy I watch, drawing a blank on his name, but he does exopolitics, doctor guy, and he's great, but he's getting hammered money-wise. It's killing him because they censor so much of his stuff, and it's like, I feel bad for you, bro. And so he's trying to do Patreon, which is not the best way to do it. You just got to find ways. Advertising's really probably one of the best, unfortunately, as bad as that sounds. I know a lot of people hate it, but it's about one of the only ways you can actually make it. Israel has started its attacks. We've got some stuff here to cover. Let's go ahead and get into that right off the bat. Boom.
This is a Fox News alert. We can confirm there are multiple explosions in Iran's capital of Tehran. I'm Jason Chaffetz, and let's go live to Trey Yingst, who's in Israel. Trey, you're always right in the heart of everything. What is happening? Is there an attack by Israel onto Iran?
Yeah, Jason, good evening. Fox News can confirm that Israel has started their attack against Iran following a ballistic missile attack that was launched against Israel earlier this month. Explosions have been reported in and around the Iranian capital of Tehran, as well as in the northern part of the country. We do understand at this hour it is a fluid and developing story. It appears at this moment that the Israeli attack against Iran is ongoing. I spoke this evening with a senior official who gave us some context into the days leading up to this highly anticipated Israeli strike against Iranian territory. This strike, according to this senior official, was meant to send a message of deterrence to the Iranian regime, and there was communication with the Americans beforehand as the region waits to see what will come next. But again, the latest information that we have, multiple explosions have been reported in and around the Iranian capital of Tehran, as well as in the northern part of Iran. We don't know the exact targets, but I am told that some of the targets were taken off the list following American pressure. There have been a lot of conversations taking place with top Israeli leadership here in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem talking with their counterparts in Washington to determine how to deter the Iranians but not drag the region into a broader war. Now, one other important note here. An Israeli official tells me the expectation is that following the strikes tonight against Iran, there will be some sort of response. Of course, they don't know what that response will look like, but Israeli air defense remains on high alert across this country. There is an understanding that Iran has the ability to target Israel with a variety of ballistic missiles, as they did earlier this month when they launched 180 of them toward this country. And so Israel's top defense systems, including the Arrow 2 and 3 systems, do remain on alert to be able to protect some of the more sensitive targets across this country.
It's so bizarre, and again, it's just the way it is. I mean, but it's so bizarre how wars, like, you give them this warning. You're like, hey, we're attacking soon, right? Like, why do you tell them? But they do. And they work out all these little, we're going to attack as hard as we need to attack. We feel this is a verified response to what you just did. We don't think you should respond back. It's kind of how it plays. It's very strange. But here is, I guess, some explosions type stuff that we've been able to get on video. Now, the thing that gets me, or I wonder, I ask, just the way things are today, the way things seem, are these specifically deep state targets? Were the white hats officially were they warned in Iran, right? Were they warned, the actual trustworthy white hats, here's what we're doing, here's what we're hitting. If you need to respond back in kind. But I wonder if some of these attacks are actually deep state targets. Deep state targets within Iran. Deep state targets within Israel, Lebanon, Gaza. Deep state targets within Taiwan, possibly. I wonder, because there's so many things that are going on right now, and it really, really, really doesn't seem like the deep state's in charge. They want nuclear war. They would have killed us by now. They haven't. They're not in charge. Now, there's some bad actors, and they've got some weapons, and I don't know how far that goes, but I don't think they've got the control that many of us credit them with. Israel apparently sent a message to Iran on Friday ahead of its retaliatory airstrikes, warning the Iranians not to respond, as 3 sources have said. The Israeli message apparently said it was an attempt to limit the ongoing exchange of attacks between Israel and Iran and prevent a wider escalation, the source said. U.S. and Israeli officials said 3 waves of airstrikes took place on Saturday morning local time. The Israeli message was conveyed to the Iranians through several third parties. Iran has said it doesn't want a full-blown war with Israel, but that it would retaliate if attacked. So this is a tick for tack. What are the targets? What are they actually taking out? Now, with Russia, I almost feel like they're literally just continuing to damage the government at this point. But the other places seem to be a little more pinpoint. A little bit. I don't know. Best I can tell. Robert Kennedy Jr. put this out. FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes its aggressive suppression of psychedelics, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, chelating compounds, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamins. Is it chelating? I think it's chelating, sorry. Vitamins, clean foods, sunshine, exercise, nutraceuticals, and anything else that advances human health and can't be patented by pharma. If you work for the FDA and are a part of this corrupt system, I have 2 messages for you. 1, preserve your records. 2, pack your bags. Good job, sir. I look forward to this very much. Whenever it finally happens, I very much look forward to it. Okay, we've talked about this black insurrectionist guy a few times. He's been spouting some bad information. It seems to be bad information. We don't know for sure. But he was the one that was saying that Tim Walsh had some information that he had raped a child in high school or whatever. Well, we've got new information about this black insurrectionist account. It was promoted through X by conservatives. It's linked to a white man who was previously accused of defrauding business partners and lenders, according to the AP. Well, again, can we trust it? Do we not? I don't know. Conservatives on X were certain Tim Walz was a pedophile after the black insurrectionists promoted a bizarre conspiracy theory on X. Now, I'm not saying he's not a pedophile. I'm saying this guy was wrong. He used an AI on a second video he did. This guy was doing some shady stuff for whatever reason. So according to AP's Brian Slodisco, the account was traced to a white man who allegedly owes over $6 million in back taxes to New York. While speaking with the AP, the man made contradictory claims, stating he worked as a researcher with a larger group. He did that with big people, national people. I have no comments on anything else regarding that. So, yeah, don't necessarily believe everything we read online, but, yeah, it is. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's up with black insurrectionist. I just want to remind you guys their system is coming down for sure. And we don't necessarily want to be there when it does. It could take a lot of your wealth with you. And I'm talking about the stock market. I'm talking about your 401k and your IRA. Precious metals have been going up. They're a nice little lull that happened, but silver went up almost $2 last week. A bunch. And it's gone up, both metals for that matter, have gone up a lot since February. Late February. We're in a very interesting time. The world and the numbers are showing that things are collapsing. Everyone's telling us everything's okay. Leaving any amount of money in the deep state system is bad on a few reasons. And I can't guarantee when things are going to happen. That's one of the hard parts about this game. But I know I've helped a lot of people, and I'm going to keep trying to help some people get the frick out. Tax-free, penalty-free, by the way. Get out, tax-free, penalty-free. Don't cash out. That's kind of silly because you're also going to get cash. If you come out of their system and get cash, you're going to get penalized and taxed to friggin' high hell and back. So it'll be over 50% of the money you lose. And then the cash you get, you're losing value with inflation happening. That is not the way to get out of their system. The easiest and best way to get out of their system, I think, is to go straight into precious metals. Precious metals as an asset are up a bunch since all this nonsense has started. In fact, they're up so high, they're even worth more than if you take inflation into account, which is not happening on any other asset except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the other one that's doing really well right now. They took a hit the other day, but they're still way solid, way up. This precious metals is a way to protect. Every time economies go through hard times, and we're definitely rhyming with history. I don't know if you caught that reference. It's a book I'm reading right now. When history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes with itself. And we are going through another rhyme right now. Every time any major economy or world currency starts to go down, it happens exactly like what's happening with us right now. Well, it's the sterling just prior to us. And before that, it was the Dutch were the ones that had the world currency. In fact, I think they kind of sort of really invented that concept a little bit. Get out of their system. Their system is not long for this world. Precious metals will hold your value. It's like charging a battery with everything you got. Shoot it into it, even though it's more of a sucking sound, whatever. Shoot it into it, put it there, store it, and watch it grow, because it's actually better than just a battery. It continues to grow. It's like the technology improves in the battery while you own it, and it continues to get more charge. It's a way to protect. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system. Get out of it. Don't know when exactly things are going to hit the fan, but inflation's constantly going up, so every single day you're losing money on those dollars sitting in the stock market. And every single day is one day closer or one moment closer to when that bubble finally bursts. Every single person that's serious about telling the truth when it comes to the economy says we're way past due. They've been pumping money into this because they don't want to hurt the election. Looks like they were able to stave it off. They're going to try to blame it on Trump is my most likely guess. I would assume it's going to happen anywhere from where the election is to when Trump comes into office, because immediately he's going to start to do things that are going to make things better. So we're going to see how this plays out. But getting out of their system is quite possibly a great idea. Maybe once Trump's had a year or two in office, and then we start to figure out how to get out of precious metals into other things maybe. Or maybe precious metals just make sense all along because we're in a new currency, which will be backed by precious metals, and we'll already be 2/3 of the way home. Think about it. We're moving into a new world, and it's not going to be the deep state's central banks anymore. Those are coming down. They are. We know they are. Can't guarantee it. I can't promise you this. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. And they want to, badly. This is just a horrible human being that's at a Kamala Harris rally yelling at a child. A child. This is a Kamala Harris rally goer. This is a chick. And then she continues the yelling match. We'll get there.
Are you ashamed at all? Look at her face. Are you ashamed? No, look. Everyone look at her face. Why did you bring your children here?
That's just like insane, right? Like she definitely screamed at this chick in the stroller. Like, I don't know what would have warranted that. I don't know who or what you are, sweetheart. Well, I use that term loosely, I guess. She obviously doesn't have a heart or sweetness to the heart. In fact, it was probably a dark void inside of her cavity. Kamala Harris is currently swimming in a sea of complaints after folks in Houston turned up. We talked about this, right? They wanted to get a Beyonce concert. That's not how it played out. No. Instead of singing, all the single ladies, right? She didn't do that at all. No. She came out and talked for about 4 minutes, they say. 4 minutes. No Crazy in Love, no other. That's the only one that I really know, because I watched Glee mainly, and it was just funny. Anyway. Not funny, but funny. So the crowd was pretty pissed. Here's the crowd talking at Kamala's own rally. Can't even tell what Echo Face is saying, but we 45 seconds, pretty much, of just the whole time the crowd's booing because the person they wanted to hear is leaving the stage. The only reason they went there, I'd love to see the crowds pouring out of that particular venue. That would have been funny. Got some election stuff to talk about. Here's one. Senator Rand Paul. This is kind of cool. It's a victory for us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Victory for us. Senator Rand Paul is like, whoa, so heard some word on the street. I'm adding to it. But he says, Dr. Paul requests information on DHS and CISA's participation at Election Day Cybersecurity Conference. Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs has said. This was that thing where they were going to do the little, act like we were having the elections taken over on the actual day of the election. And Senator Rand Paul's like, I want some more information on what you all are doing. Well, Michael Schellenberger shared something with us that's pretty cool. He said, this is incredible. After Senator Rand Paul started asking questions, by the way, I'm going to say after people like us started making ripples, then Rand Paul started asking questions, and then DHS was going to do a large-scale cyber exercise in Atlanta on Election Day. DHS postponed the entire event, blaming disinformation. DHS is one of our most corrupt, politicized, and totalitarian agencies. Yeah, they sure as hell are. We just stopped DHS from doing a cyber thing on Election Day with the use of disinformation. Thank you very much. I will go ahead and take that bow. I've earned it. You too, by the way. You guys should bow at home. Pat yourself on the back. Careful. You will hurt yourself, but it feels good. Maricopa County election tapes inbound. Stay tuned. We've actually got that, I believe, here. I'm going to actually play this at 1.2 speed, but I think this is all worth hearing because this is Maricopa election training. And they're telling people to kind of allow certain things and not allow it. It's kind of interesting. And OMG is doing some great work, and this has pissed off the deep state in Maricopa so badly. We'll get there too, but this is worth it. Check it out.
I had one question about drop-off ballots. Are we allowed to say anything? Because it is a felony for people to turn in ballots outside their home.
No. Just 2 weeks away from the presidential election, we are inside recording the trainings. We take you inside Maricopa County, Arizona, where election trainings are now in full swing. Meet Amy Bricker. She's an election trainer for Maricopa County. She says if poll workers spot ballot harvesting activity, it is not their job to police that illegal activity. Check this out.
As a poll worker, it's not your responsibility to police that. We're not any type of law enforcement.
During yet another election poll watching training session at Maricopa County's election office, another citizen journalist discovered that federal agents from the DOJ will be inside those election centers. Again, all of this recorded by volunteers, citizen journalists, and poll watchers there in Arizona.
What would be some reasons why the Department of Justice would need to show up at your poll center?
They could be following up on a lawsuit or just coming to monitor things for this election.
Hello, James O'Keefe here in Palm Beach, Florida. We've got people on the inside of poll locations around the country, including in Maricopa County. We have hundreds of poll workers, election clerks, and judges with hidden cameras recording trainings and polling locations. And in this video, just 2 weeks away from the presidential election, we take you inside Maricopa County, Arizona, where election trainings are now in full swing. Meet Amy Bricker. She's an election trainer for Maricopa County. She says if poll workers spot ballot harvesting activity, possibly illegal activity like ballot harvesting, it is not their job to police that illegal activity. Check this out.
I had one question about drop-off ballots.
Yes.
We had a couple instances during the primary where somebody brought in a stack. It was a kind of a point of contention. My question is, besides, did the owner of the ballot sign and date? Are we allowed to say anything? Because it is a felony for people to turn in ballots outside their home.
No.
And as a poll worker, it's not your responsibility to police that.
Okay.
We're not any type of law enforcement. So we're just going to ask the question. If they comply with the question, we're going to allow them to drop what they had.
The citizen journalist went on to ask how these harvested ballots would be counted. Election trainers Amy Bricker and Dawn Woodruff said even though the votes are harvested, as long as Maricopa has the voter signatures matched, well, they will cast those votes.
How does that checked?
Signature verification.
Right, but even if they picked up valid ballots from other homes, that's still a felony.
Well, so that, again, they would have to be signed
Right.
by the owner.
Right.
So if it's signed by the owner, then that is a valid signature, and that is a valid ballot.
Now, we did some legal research on the laws regarding ballot harvesting in Arizona. Arizona's ballot harvesting law was eventually declared as constitutional by the Supreme Court. The law provides for no delivery of ballots unless you're a family member and caregiver. The county recording or other officer in charge of election shall ensure that a voter is not in possession of another voter's ballot within the on-site early ballot tabulation. If for some reason poll watchers are allowed to observe these, the recourse is to file a timely written complaint based upon statutory grounds. If they're cheating, stealing, or lying, well, we're going to be recording it. During yet another election poll watching training session at Maricopa County's election office, another citizen journalist discovered that federal agents from the DOJ will be inside those election centers.
Now, if you have someone from the Department of Justice, who can they speak to? Anyone, yes. So they will have a badge that will identify them. We have no jurisdiction over them, so they can talk to anyone and they can observe anything.
Our citizen journalist went on to ask the Maricopa County training officials why the Department of Justice will be inside these places. Amy Bricker's response was to, quote, monitor things for this election.
What would be some reasons why the Department of Justice would need to show up at your poll center?
Because they want to.
They could be following up on a lawsuit or something with the previous election or just coming to monitor things for this election.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, according to election trainers, poll workers are not allowed to police people who ballot harvest, but our citizen journalist with the secret camera found out poll watchers can police in another way. Voters who take a picture of their own ballot will be told by poll workers to immediately delete the picture in question off their phone. If the voter doesn't comply, then a report is filed.
If a voter wants to take a picture of their ballot with their vote,
No,
not allowed.
no, not
No
at all.
photos at all.
So the procedure for that is if you happen to see someone take a picture of themselves, a selfie, their ballot, whatever, what we're going to ask them to do is we don't want to be confrontational, but we do want to ask them to delete that photo. Most often they will not delete the photo. So in that case, just go ahead and fill out a goldenrod. You don't need to include the voter's name, just include the time, the location, the date, and just say, hey, voter, take a picture, did not want to delete, and just do the goldenrod.
as the countdown to the 2024 election. We're only 2 weeks away. Here at OMG, we have hundreds of people who've signed up to be a poll watcher, and they want our hidden cameras. Of course, you have to determine if the jurisdiction you live in, it's legal. We're going to have some legal advice posted to our website. If you want a hidden camera, please reach out to us at tips@o'keefemediagroup.com. Send us a DM. We're going to be dispatching dozens of hidden cameras around the country. We are on the inside, and if you see something, record something and send to James O'Keefe at O'Keefe Media. Does anyone really trust the healthcare system? Well, thankfully, there still are some good guys left in healthcare, like our great friends at the Wellness Company. The Wellness Company has been with...
Yeah, well, yeah, so he's doing a good job keeping all that together. And again, if you guys want to help on that, that is, what was his, tips.o'keefemediagroup.com, tips.o'keefemediagroup.com. Definitely a good place to check all that out, so for sure, kind of help there. All said, yeah, good stuff what he's doing. Now, this pissed them off, come to find out. Maricopa County elections has consistently been transparent in how we administer elections. To secretly videotape election workers who are only trying to serve their community is disrespectful and unnecessary. We are disappointed that your organization would take this measure to misrepresent the good work of these law-abiding citizens. To clarify and answer your questions, poll workers do not have the legal authority to question voters or ask for ID when dropping off a ballot. It's not what they talked about. If they're harvesting ballots, meaning they had many, many ballots. State law does allow individuals to drop off ballot affidavit envelopes for family members, household members, and for those for which they provide care. By law, Department of Justice observers are allowed to visit vote centers. Questions about their specific role or plans for elections should be directed by the DOJ. Yeah, so they don't like what happened here. I'm sure she got in trouble. I'm sure she's no longer being used. But this is bringing attention for all of us so we can see what's going on. So again, James O'Keefe brings up a couple good points. Thank you for corroborating our news reporting as accurate. Stephen Ricker said, Maricopa County, congrats to the intrepid dance video journalist who secretly recorded 2 of the board's election employees accurately describing the law. First off, that was a great dance video that he did. Quite impressed. Sorry, Mr. O'Keefe, but that was good. And then he says, shame on me. We're factually reporting what your workers are saying in the trainings. If transparency is evil, this world is in a lot of pain. The only way we solve the division is through sunlight and transparency. Suck it, bitches. And then Bill Gates, of course, says, shame on you, James O'Keefe. Your bad faith undercover investigation endangers the safety of Maricopa vote workers. It's messing with democracy. I'm surprised he didn't say that. Yeah, shame on him. Yeah, loving it. John Fetterman says some very interesting things, and he's not really good at being a politician. That's kind of, I guess, sort of his charm, if you will. And it does seem like he's healed a lot, by the way, because he speaks significantly better than he did when he first got out. He was kind of, he was pretty jacked up. Let's just call a spade a spade. But Fetterman was asked some questions by the New York Times. They said, you've said that Trump has special connection with the people of Pennsylvania. Fetterman's like, yeah, 100%. And they say, why? What is it that you see that he appeals in your state? Oops. Fetterman says, there's a difference between not understanding, but also acknowledging that it exists. And anybody spends time driving around, and you can see the intensity. It's astonishing. I was doing an event in Indiana County, very, very red. And there was a superstore of Trump stuff. And it was 100 feet long. And it was dozens of T-shirts and hats and bumper stickers and all kinds of, it's like, where does all this come from? It's the kind of thing that has taken on its own life. And it's like something very special exists there. And that doesn't mean that I admire it. It's just, it's real. And now Elon Musk is joining him. To a lot of people, that's Tony Stark. That's the world's richest guy. And he's obviously and undeniably a brilliant guy. And he's saying, hey, that's my guy for president. That's going to really matter. What do you think it does? Fetterman responded, I was truly alarmed about that when he started showing up. I've been there, not on a rally in Pennsylvania, but when they're having the AI conference in Washington. He showed up at my building at Russell, And senators were like, and this Fetterman's voice, I guess, gets really high. Ooh, ooh. They were like, I got to have 2 minutes, please. So if senators are all like, ooh, then can you imagine what voters in Scranton or all across Pennsylvania, in some cases, he's bigger star than Trump. Endorsements that they're really not meaningful often, but this one is, I think. This has me concerned. And he's right. Let's be honest, right? So, of course, we're seeing some posts from Reuters, who I'm pretty sure is Chinese-controlled. They said just October 22nd this year, of course, just 4 days ago, as far as my calendar is concerned. Headline, Elon Musk delivers cash conspiracies to Pennsylvania voters. And then just 3 days later, 25th, yesterday in my world, Pennsylvania County investigating fraudulent voter applications. 3 days later. Reuters. Wrong. You guys lie. You guys make stuff up, is what they say about Trump and us. Here's you guys contradicting your own selves 3 days later because of us and our disinformation. You're welcome. Oh, did I say suck it? Nah, if I haven't, well, should be implied by this point. A criminal investigation has been initiated in Pennsylvania after election workers in Lancaster County flagged approximately 2,500 registered forms of potential fraud. 2,500 voter registration forms. Yeah. 2,500 only. But means they're looking into it more deeply. In fact, they found a pattern already. Uh-oh. Are we paying attention, Deep State? It's almost like we've already flagged the problems before the election started. You wouldn't let us do anything about it, which gives us standing, I would think, to some degree. We tried. You didn't make it easy for us to find out. You kept slow-walking information. Here we go again. Yeah. A panel of 3 Donald Trump-appointed judges said Friday that Mississippi was violating federal law by counting mail ballots that arrive after Election Day, but stopped short of blocking the policy before the election in a ruling that could nevertheless impact voting-related lawsuits this fall. The ruling from the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals is a victory for the Republican National Committee and others who brought the case in Mississippi, non-battleground state with very little mail-in voting, seeking a ruling by far-right circuit court friendly to their arguments. Now, one of the things that's beautiful about this is its precedent. It speaks of something that's already now happened factually in law. So good on you, Mississippi, for getting it in the books, because the books is where we need it. Much like our votes, you all got to vote. Get out there and vote. Democrats and voting rights advocates fear that the ruling in Republicans' favor will be used to boost challenges. Fuck yeah, it will. Congress statutorily designated a singular day for the election of members of Congress and the appointment of president-electors. The Fifth Circuit panel said, text, precedent, and historical practice confirm this day for election is the day by which ballots must be both cast by voters and received by state officials. Voting day. And it always has been. And that's where they're bummed. And Roe v. Wade had way more traction. It had 50 years or whatever, right? And they still got that kicked to the curb. This has very little time, essentially since COVID. Again, they turned the submarine towards the torpedo in Hunt for Red October. This is what the good guys did. All right? We see exactly what we're doing. We're going to charge right at it and force you to do it faster because we know you can. And they're failing everywhere. Good time to be alive. Russian actors made fake video depicting mail-in ballots for Trump being destroyed. I don't know if I shared this video or not. I definitely saw the video. It was a dude open them up. Oh, vote for Trump, and tears it, right? First off, what's funny about it, whether it's right or wrong, and it could be right. I think this is a funny story just in and of itself. But, like, if you literally got that much time, it's just like to open up envelopes and be like, like he's like a postal guy or whatever. So it's kind of funny. They're saying it was Russian actors that made this video. So now we got to blame Russia for making a video that makes it look like somebody was destroying votes, which makes sense that somebody probably was destroying votes, but then dumb enough to record himself doing it. Maybe he thought that was going to be cool when he put it on his TikTok. I don't know, but we're in a funny place where you can't do stuff like that and not get busted. So this is going to be very interesting, but I just love the fact that they're blaming Russia right now. It's Russia, apparently, that did this. It's not some postal asshole that's bringing up everything with disinformation. Again, we're busting people left, right, and center. And now it's Russia. Yeah, it's Russia, folks. Democrats in North Carolina's Helene disaster area block emergency early voting locations. See, interesting little story we've come to find is the Democrat areas of all these damage-ridden places, they've already got alternate sites to vote. But the Republican places, which most of this area is very Republican, well, they've interestingly had a very hard time establishing any, or very few, if any, voting sites. Democrats are all good. Republicans, yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. Yeah, you guys got damaged. Yeah, it's all, God, bless your soul. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why I'm making them sound Canadian-ish, but this person happened to have punched a moose yesterday. Maybe they just talk like that afterwards. Don't know. Very strange how this game is being played, yeah? Corruption all over, a boot, if you will. Oops. Let's try to stay on the story I'm supposed to talk about. Kamala Harris's Marxist dad issued a warning against mass immigration. Serious problem for blacks, is what he said, his quote, his book. Now, I still think there's some questions about this gentleman and whether or not they are related. They do kind of look similar. I'm going to be honest. They kind of do. It looks like she's maybe related to him. I think so. I don't know. His mouth, her mouth, his long, skinny face, her long face. I don't know what her mom looks like, but I don't know. Maybe, whatever. It doesn't matter. The rest says, Donald Harris, an emeritus professor at Stanford University, issued a warning against mass immigration of low-skilled workers in 1988 treatise. He co-authored a book called Black Economic Progress, an Agenda for the 1990s. So Harris, this guy, now 86, was unequivocal at the time. Quote, trends in international trade have moved against U.S. workers, he wrote. U.S. immigration laws have been modified in ways that increase the influx of low-skilled workers who compete with native-born youths and low-skilled adult workers for low-skilled jobs. This shift has been a particularly serious problem for blacks who constitute a high proportion of the low-skilled adult workers. That's what he was talking about in the book. Now, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but this is one of the things that should concern because this stereotypically, and this gentleman was talking about it way back then, has generally hurt the black and Hispanic cultures within our own society, and the ones that are legally here, for that matter. So, judge throws out vote payment allegation against Elon Musk. This was pretty cool how they were going out against him, saying he can't donate money or give away money to registered voters or whatever. They're like, that's illegal, and the judge threw it out. So apparently it's not even close to illegal. Who's it? Judge Maxine M. Chesney. She denied the motion, pointed to the decision from U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit that concluded there must be a relationship between an injury claimed in the motion for injunctive relief and the conduct asserted in the underlying lawsuit. Basically, no standing or no injury, really. It's not really standing. Maybe, I don't know, there's a legal thing there. I don't know if it would be standing also. But, yeah, it's like, you haven't been damaged by this, right? Nope, sorry. Shut the F up. They do it to us all the time. Jack Smith prosecuted Trump over documents he declassified and stored at his presidential office in Mar-a-Lago. Biden stored them at 3 locations, 2 of them completely unsecured, and he wasn't charged because he's mentally unfit. Biden is officially still president. So we got a new image of Biden's improperly removed vice presidential records. What's odd to me, and maybe it's just because it's the boxes they had lying around, because they are free when you ship enough, but they're all FedEx boxes. It looks like they got a FedEx sticker on them. So were secure docs FedExed? Just throwing it out there, because I see a sticker right here. There's a sticker down there that looks very much like a FedEx label. Just saying. Who am I? Lawyers prosecuting second would-be Trump assassin went to high school with Judge Cannon. Now, this is a means, I'm sure of it, of trying to get Cannon off this case, which is kind of interesting. They're going to try to get Cannon off this case because she's pro-Trump, obviously, and this guy didn't do anything wrong. And so they bring in a lawyer for this guy that managed to happen to go to high school with Judge Cannon. So they're, of course, going to want Cannon to recuse herself. And I would say the judge is more important than the lawyer. Maybe the lawyer needs to recuse themselves and let him get another attorney. But if not, I'm going to stay impartial. I don't care if we went to high school together. I'm not going to give you any favor. So we'll see how this plays out. I think it'll be entertaining, to say the least. According to WB's, who's it? Who's WB's? Oh, he's being all cryptic in this message. Chuck does that every once in a while. It's kind of funny. But he says, according to WB's, some Secret Service employees assigned to help protect President Trump were forced to sign non-disclosure agreements so they could attend relevant briefing. Fed employees have a right to disclose info on waste abuse. Senator Johnson and I are making sure USSS NDAs don't violate U.S. law. He's looking into it because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Here's some more. Get out there and vote. Here's Elon Musk talking. I think I got two things to him that are pretty good. Check it out.
Basically, a nonstop live stream of this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Kind of so it's like it's so people can like tune in and see real time what's happening. We'll post frequent updates throughout the day. This is what we're doing now. Like we're definitely going to get some sort of antibody. Probably a big antibody reaction from a lot of sides. But I'm just going to be like, look, assuming that President Trump is supportive, that like everyone's taking a haircut here because America's got to live within its means, and we can't be a wastrel. We can't be, we need to be like we need to live honestly. Really, this is what it amounts to, and not just spend. We can't spend so much money and still we can't spend it so poorly. So. But I think it's very important to be transparent and to also explain why things are being done, and then people can object. And this obviously won't be perfect. Mistakes will be made, and then what matters is really correcting fast for those mistakes. But it's not going to be like some sort of backroom secret thing. It'll be like as transparent as possible.
If you think about moving forward, that's the only way we can, right? We've got to be as transparent as possible. We've got to make sure we can see it. Kind of like the flat earth thing. And I'm not trying to, it's just a weird thing. Like, it's so weird. But like, if we threw a camera up high, right, like, and showed, they'd be like, it's fish lens. And if they threw up a wide angle camera, which flattens out the view, then it would look flat. And they'd be like, see, it's flat. It's like, yeah, but that's a wide angle. That's not, right? And it's kind of the funny thing. It's like, where do you meet in the middle? Do you have to use your own eyes and be like, all right, yeah, I kind of actually can't see a curve. It's weird. All right, whatever. Maybe you're right. Like, I don't know how that works. But ultimately, you need proof. So opening up the government, being able to see in, being able to see it, fisheye or wide angle, it will allow, I think, us to know for sure. I hope, right? Here's more Musk stuff talking about how he wants to make changes. I love it.
To be clear, I don't have an answer for everything, but I'll do my best. I do think there's a big question mark around the federal Department of Education. That was only established in the I think early 80s or something like that. And the irony is that the school scores, like the educational scores, have gone downhill dramatically since the creation of the Department of Education, which doesn't make any sense. If you're going to create a department and spend a bunch of money, you should expect things to get better, not worse. Moreover, the Department of Education at the federal level has pushed all sorts of propaganda on kids that has nothing to do with useful skills. So there's like a lot of sort of left-wing propaganda that's being foisted on kids that the federal money is contingent upon, and that needs to stop. So schools should be focused on teaching kids about the world and teaching them useful skills so that when they graduate, they can do something useful. That's the whole point. And that you want them to understand the world, be an informed voter, and have skills that they can immediately apply. I don't think going to four-year college is necessary to be successful. I think for a lot of people, it's actually going to make a lot more sense to learn a trade. Be an electrician, plumber, carpenter. I think those are. I have a lot of respect for anyone who just does an honest day's work and is useful to their fellow human beings. And a lot of times, kids will spend 4 years in college, not learn anything useful, and be saddled with a ton of debt. And what's the point of that? It doesn't make any sense.
And that is true. I mean, really, that's what schools for is so you can work. I mean, it's the way the system's designed, right, wrong, and different. Now, I've read some an interesting thing. It's in the I put some books in the bottom. They'll stay there for a while, but it's the intermediate book. That book's actually really awesome. I'm reading it my third time, I think, now, and it's just certain things stand out, and we've got to evolve. We've got to evolve, folks. It's just the bottom line. Not to try to get too far off into the weeds, but we're in a tough place, and having worthless schooling that doesn't do anything to benefit the big picture, right? You teach you some set of skills just so you can be an activist. And that's really what a lot of schooling is doing, is teaching people how to be activists. That's not useful in any way. That's actually bad, but it's pushing the deep state. So there's creating little deep state monsters. That's what school's doing right now. That needs to stop. We've got to change what's going on. CNN, Washington Post editor, I guess, he resigned yesterday. He's same Jeff Bezos is who blocked this whole thing.
Trump has made it clear.
Play this here real quick.
So you made this decision to resign. Tell me how you came to that decision. What got you over the line?
Well, it was a pretty easy decision. This is obviously an effort by Jeff Bezos to curry favor with Donald Trump in anticipation of his possible victory. Trump has threatened to go after Bezos's business. Bezos runs one of the largest companies in America. They have tremendously intricate relations with the federal government. They depend on the federal government. And Trump has made it clear that he will attack media organizations that are critical of him. He's threatened to take away CBS's license. And this is clearly an effort by Bezos to try to get on Trump's good side in advance of his presidency. So if we want to know how Trump is going to stifle the free press in the United States, this is the answer. This is how it's going to happen, especially when the media is owned by corporate titans who have a lot to lose if Trump is angry at them.
It's not just that they're angry at them. They have a lot to lose by going against a mass amount of the population. Okay, they want to blame it on Trump. No, it's all those radical extremist MAGA people that makes up over 50% of the population, and they know that. It's destroying their readership. We're destroying newspapers. We're destroying Jeff Bezos's investment. I'm sure it's undervalued already from where he bought it. Well, I would assume. I don't know how long he's had it. Maybe still good. Yeah, the situation's not working well for these guys at all. Insurrection Barbie posted this, and Donald Trump Jr. reposted it. She said, Hitler controlled the media. Hitler hated free speech, gun ownership, and capitalism. Hitler divided everyone by race. You tell me if that sounds more like Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Shouldn't have to think too long, I hope. A lot of speakers are going to be showing up at the Madison Square Garden event. Makes me kind of want to live stream it if I can. We'll see how I can pull that off and maybe be in there some. But this is going to be long. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. Senator J.D. Vance, Mike Johnson, Les Stefanik, Byron Donalds, Tulsi Gabbard. We've got Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Laura Trump, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Elon Musk, Dan Scavino, Stephen Miller, Dana White, Tucker Carlson, Brooke Rollins Institute, whoever that is. Oh, Brooke Rollins. Steve Witkoff, Howard Lutnick, Grant Cardone, Sergio Gore, Michael Harris Jr. came not here. Lee Greenwald, he sang last time at the thing I was at. And the other, that's pretty much, we've got the good guys up top. Sorry. Kill Tony. Oh, comedian. That's kind of cool. Whatever. That is going to be quite an experience. So we'll see. That should be pretty good. And the way those things seem to play out is a lot of the better speakers just continue to happen throughout the day. Like the crap ones are up front, no offense. And then they just get better and better and better as far as the ones you would want to see. Kind of forces you to stick around. It's a smart marketing move. I want to remind you guys, of course, of making sure you've got the proper medicines. These are done legally with you actually fill out some information for a doctor and they actually basically give you a prescription. So it's very powerful. But it's not my pillow. No, it's not. It's not that. Where the shit is it? Why can't, there it is. twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. They've got amazing products. I always like to bring up the spike support formula. This thing's actually meant to get the spikes that are floating around inside of you. Maybe it came from somebody that rolled up their sleeve that you live with, or maybe you rolled up your sleeve. This thing actually helps a lot. They've also got a whole lot of really other cool stuff. Bison Org, they've got some really amazing products that are all super healthy bone and joint support formulas. But the thing that I think is one of the most valuable is the Contagion Kit. It's got the ability to help us through any viral. It's got ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. It's got like Tamiflu generic. It's got generic Z-Pak. It's got a nebulizer thing with an upper respiratory thing. So an amazing kit. You should check it out. An amazing kit that gives you a chance to deal with any virals that could possibly show up in our futures. I do recommend it. Supposedly one kit's good for one person. I don't know. I probably get 2 people with it, but they allow you to do a replenishment kit on it, by the way. So if you do use it, you can get a replenishment for less price every 2 years, within a 2-year period of buying this. So keep that in mind. And they've also got a first aid kit that's amazing. They've got a medical emergency kit, which you should look into. Also, there's some really great medicines that they give you. And again, we wonder sometimes if we're going to be cut off even for a short period of time. This is a way to help deal with just the medicine side of that, being able to hunker down for a little bit. You want to have food, you want to have water, you want to have medicines, you want to have bandages, Band-Aids, stuff like that. You want to be able to kind of get by. Maybe not well, but well enough. Go to twc.health/OTF. Take care of this component. Make sure you've got no problems. You got kids, make sure you've maybe got a kit that you hang on to in case they get sick, or send it to them if they're far away and just say, hey, just hang on to it. If you get the flu, we'll talk, all right? Doesn't matter. Your parents know better. We know that. Come on. Go to twc.health/OTF, twc.health/OTF. Make that decision, make that step, and realize that you're protecting yourself from anything that could happen where you might need to rely on the bad guys. All right, Joe Rogan had Donald Trump on. We're going to play some snippets. I think this one is short. Yeah, check this out.
Well, I didn't. I had no experience. You have to understand, Joe.
So
I was there 17 times in Washington, and I never stayed over. According to the press, which I think is probably right, over the years, I was only there 17 times. I never stayed over. So now I'm sitting there, I'm saying...
Yeah, obviously they're into the 17, so I guess that was the point of that. Whatever. Hindsight probably should have kept that one out. Here is some stuff, him talking about the JFK Jr. Or JFK files and stuff like that. Good. Trump on Rogan. Rogan would talk about this. I can't wait to watch this anyway, but here's some snippets.
JFK in particular. So they call me, a lot of good people call me, people that that you would find reasonable people. And they asked me not to do it, so I said, well, we'll close it for another time. But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open enough time.
Why didn't you open it up the first time, though?
Because a lot of times...
What was the hesitation, though?
Addresses, people that are still living. There are people that are affected. And there could be some national security reason that that I don't have to necessarily know about. But some very good, talented people asked me not to do it. I opened it up, and then they said, would it be possible for us to do that a different day?
How much of it did you read into?
I think it's going to be just fine to open it. Let me put it that way. I think it's fine. It's going to be time. It's a cleansing. It's really a cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately, almost immediately upon entering office.
Well, the thing, when people look at it from the outside and you sort of imagine what could be a reason why they would not release those files, it would be there's people that were implicated in the assassination.
Yeah. Well, when there are living people, you generally tend not to want to do it. When people are still living.
Living people that formerly work for the government.
For the government, and living people that were somehow involved in it, and you tend not to do that. But it's time to open them. I can't tell you whether or not they're going to find anything of interest. And I did partially open. I think I've opened 50%, but I was asked not to do it, and I thought that was a reasonable ask. But now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
there's a lot of interest in the people coming from space,
Yes.
And I know you're interested in that.
Oh, very interested in that. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they tell you? How much can you tell?
So
how's that work? Is it like super top secret?
I can tell,
Tell me.
Well, based on Hunter Biden, I can say whatever the hell I want, right? But I interviewed a few people. It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been a believer. I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is,
Mhm.
I think it's the #1 tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that, right?
Sure, I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something. If you saw them, you'd love to have them as your
I've had a
son.
couple in here. Commander David Fravor.
Yeah.
I had him in, who had that sighting in 2004. Very,
Yeah.
very compelling with video
compelling.
evidence, radar evidence.
I interviewed
Ryan Graves.
I don't believe his name, but I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people, perfect. I mean, great pilots, great everything. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane, you know. And it was round, which is, in theory, a great shape.
So when you were talking to these people, was this something that you were compelled to have conversations
No.
about? Was this your personal interest?
A little bit. It's not a great interest for me, but it's a little interest. I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens coming, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, because
Mars, we've had probes there and
Well,
rovers,
yeah,
and
but-
I don't think
yeah.
there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but maybe it's
maybe
a
there was
different
life
kind of
there
life.
at one point in time. This is
Yeah.
the speculation about Mars, that Mars had an atmosphere at one point in time, a long time ago, that could support life. It
Yeah.
also had large bodies of water, but we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But the
It's
universe
not
is
been a
pretty
big
vast.
thing for me. I mean, when I looked at what China did to this, they would have never done it with me, where they put the balloon up, and a
Mhm.
lot of people thought, for a little while that was
Right.
one of these things. So,
Well, that's a lot of the speculation too. That some of these drones that
Could
hover
be.
over battleships, that these are
be.
Chinese drones, and that
That
they're not
could be.
UFOs.
They
They're-
could be also.
There's some super
But
sophisticated.
I did interview, let's say, 3 or 4 guys that, and without tremendous interest, if you had them, as I said, you'd love to have them as your children. Solid, beautiful people. They said, "Sir, there's something there."
There's something there.
They've said it, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few of
They're
them.
not
that have-
conspiracy guys.
Well, I mean, just the Commander David Fravor thing in 2004 off the coast of San Diego, they clocked that thing going
Yeah.
from 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
That's tough to beat.
Yeah, they saw something in the water. It was hovering over that something that was making a disturbance in the water. They got video evidence of this thing. The 2 different fighter jets with pilots in them saw it. There's, visual evidence, photographic evidence, video evidence, radar evidence. Whatever the hell it is, it moves in a way that would turn a human being into jello if they were
Yeah.
inside of it. The G-force, no one would survive.
Oh,
so
the
like, what is
G-force.
that? And we don't. It doesn't have a heat signature. They don't know what their propulsion system was. But
When you fly in some of these jets, these pilots have to be in great shape.
oh yeah, I flew with
When
the
you
Blue
talk
Angels
about-
once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
I
an
got to
example.
fly. I guess
and
it's
those
an
are older,
FA-18.
and those are older machines.
And they're crazy.
When you fly in some of these things,
Oh, my
it's
God.
amazing. Yeah, but
Yeah, I can imagine.
You got to be special.
But these things that these people are encountering are far superior to what we know of.
Yeah.
Is it possible that there's some military or government program that you weren't, that they didn't tell you about?
I think I had a great relationship with the military, basically. But I didn't like certain people. I would have gotten them out if I thought if the election was different, I would have fired all of them quickly. Most of them I did fire. Biden should have fired.
Yeah. So good stuff. I hadn't watched all this. I just took everything I got because I wanted to share it. I wanted to watch it, frankly. Here's more.
A lot of interest in the people coming from space,
Yes.
And I know you're interested in that.
We already did this. Okay. Well, that was just a smaller snippet of the last segment. Let's see what else we got in here.
This country can become rich with the proper use of tariffs. It'll
Did
keep
you just
companies-
float out the idea of getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs?
Well, okay.
Were you serious about that?
Yeah, sure. But why not? Because ready?
I can't wait to watch
This-
this. I can't wait to watch this. I'm going to. Yeah, here's some more. Talks about how wealthy the nation was before IRS. Oh, okay, so maybe this is the rest. Check it out.
Be the most beautiful word, and I've said this for the last couple of weeks, in the dictionary today, and any is the word tariff. It's more beautiful than love. It's more beautiful than anything. It's the most beautiful word. This country can become rich with the proper use of tariffs. It'll
Did
keep
you just
companies.
float out the idea of getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs?
Well, okay.
Were you serious about that?
Yeah, sure, but why not? Because ready? Our country was the richest relatively in the 1880s and 1890s. A president who was assassinated named McKinley, he was the tariff king. He spoke beautifully of tariffs. His language was really beautiful. We will not allow the enemy to come in and take our jobs and take our factories and take our workers and take our families unless they pay a big price, and the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right. And then around in the early 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax. And you know why? Because countries were putting a lot of pressure on America. We don't want to pay tariffs. Please don't. Believe me, they control our politicians. If you look at the kind of numbers that these guys make then and now, but we had a commission meeting in the, I think it was 1887. Think of this problem. We were so rich, we had so much money, we didn't know what to do, so they set up a blue ribbon commission on tariffs, and the sole purpose is what to do with all the money we had. We were so rich because we were taxing other people for coming in and taking our jobs. And China does it. That's what China did. If you want to open a factory and sell cars, if you build a factory here or have a factory, they don't take our cars. They wouldn't take our cars. But if you build a plant in China, you can do that.
Guy makes so much sense. I mean, this is like, to me, is like Ross Perot all over, except, I don't know, probably cooler. Ross Perot is a little more, let me tell you something. Like, he's kind of had a funny voice. It wasn't necessarily what we wanted, but there was a poll, this Joe Rogan headquarters account, I think is his. But yeah, we've still got 9 hours left as of this second of filming, 12:50 or 11:52 a.m. We've got our community show coming up here in just over an hour. I got to finish up. But 96.3% Trump. Like, yeah, duh. Harris at 3.7%. And so far, how many we got views? 460,000 views and 131,000 votes. Interesting. It's kind of interesting ratio, just in and of itself. A lot of people don't want to be a part of this. I don't blame them. I did it because I wanted to see the numbers. I'll be honest. Otherwise, I wouldn't have voted. So, yeah, I probably would have fallen into that number typically. Fearing China will deploy hypersonic weapons to sink ships in the Pacific, the U.S. Navy is moving forward with the plan to arm some of its vessels with Patriot interceptor missiles. Interesting idea. I'm assuming it's obviously not any of our Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. They have a far superior system to the Patriot missile system, though what I envisioned when I read this was putting them on ships that wouldn't normally have air-to-air defense, in which case, kind of makes sense, I guess. If they can figure out a way to bolt it down, and there you go. It's a small way to add some bolt-on armament or bolt-on weapons, and that's going to be the thing is, we know the way that we're vulnerable for sure when it comes to air-to-air intercepts is overwhelming numbers. If you overwhelm our numbers, we are definitely screwed, right? I don't think we have nearly as many of these laser ships and stuff as we hope. So that's a big, big problem. And if they do multiple hypersonic weapons, yeah, we're going to need additional craft that are capable of helping protect. I do think the Patriot system's got a little experience supposedly taking out hypersonics. We did get a story from Ukraine. I kind of doubted it, but I was also, I don't know, I was a little more pro that technology, and now I'm starting to think maybe it's not quite as good as they want. I don't know. We'll see. Just there's so much information. I was just talking to a buddy of mine that used to be in intelligence, or not intelligence, but the companies making these weapons and stuff. And it doesn't tell me anything real cool, but it's just he helps me think the right way sometimes. Not that I'm the best at it. I'm sure he would disagree with me plenty. Russian troops have no idea what to do with North Korean soldiers, supposedly, and referred to them as the frickin' Chinese. This is kind of funny. So there's this big noise being made about, North Korea gave Russia troops to fight in Ukraine. And again, I anytime we're being hypocrites to our own selves, I'm going to call us out every single time. You can say I'm a Russian lover or whatever. I'm just going to say, look, I'm just calling out the hypocrisy. If we're going to apply a rule, it needs to be applied equally. Otherwise, the rule's stupid. No. Yeah, they have to do what we say. No, that's not really how that works anymore. That's why the world's becoming multipolar, because we've been doucheholes for so long, and we've allowed it because we're like, oh, it's for democracy? Well, then, yeah, let's do it. Let's nuke that school. And so, yeah, it's just how we are. We're wired that way. Like, it's very easy to get us to be like, oh, that's a good idea. And we're like, really? We just killed a whole bunch of people for cheaper Arby's sandwiches. That's not necessarily... I love Arby's, though. That's worth it, Dan. NATO officials say, actually, Arby's is really good. It's weird. One of my weird that and Del Taco is a crap taco place out here. Well, okay, burritos. I'll be honest. That's the California thing, I guess. But yeah, I love them. All said, those are my two crap fast food things. And I'm like, damn it. NATO officials say U.S. slow walking Zelensky's request to join alliance. You mean you don't want to go to World War III and try to justify that one? That's weird. Slow walk that until Trump shows up. And then when he kicks us out of NATO and you're like, all right, you all, now it's literally North Atlantic and you don't have to worry about us over in the Southern Atlantic or whatever. We're not really Southern. I don't know. Maybe Southern Atlantic, kind of. Who knows? Richard Grinnell posted this. I think it's interesting. All the way across the board. So he was the ambassador to Germany. I think most of us know he's a lot of great people, but he was apparently on the board of the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum on Friday, and he resigned. He was pissed because there was silence about their response to Kamala Harris's comments comparing the Republican presidential nominee to Adolf Hitler. It sounds to me, in all honesty, like he needed a reason to quit and wanted to be able to make a big deal about it, so it got some press. So I think he's planning on coming back into the Trump circle. He's definitely proven himself, I find. And I think he was trying to clean up some of his loose ends, if you will. And that's what my take is on this. I don't know whether it's true or not. But the museum's leadership's silence in the face of Vice President Kamala Harris is comparing blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. So he's out. He's out. He's making noise. He's loud. He's proud, folks. And I like that about Grinnell. Grinnell, again, like I said, one of my best friends is gay. It's just, it's only when he gets super drunk and then he hits on me. Sometimes it's just gross, but whatever. We just say no. Greg, push him away. He knows. Boeing eyes existing space race by selling off business with NASA. All right? So it's this is what's going on. They are thinking of getting out of the business. They don't even know how to make airplanes anymore. They certainly don't make rockets and space capsules properly. So, yeah, Boeing... such a bummer, but the deep state companies will fall. I don't know what happens. Obviously, their IP will get gobbled up. Their intellectual property, it'll get gobbled up by whoever. McDonnell Douglas has some amazing stuff. I don't know who ends up owning a lot of this. Part of me almost wants to think Lockheed, just because I think Ben Rich and the whole story, and I've read some of that stuff, and very excited about the SR-71 and Skunk Works with the F-117, and obviously the B-2 bomber. They've done some really cool ass shit that we're aware of. And he's also said, not only can we take ET, not only can we talk to AT, but we can take him home, or something to that effect. He said a very strange thing. So I hope Lockheed is the one that gets to suck all this cool stuff up. To me, I hope, just because I feel like they've done some really cool ass stuff. We'll see. Maybe next week I'll find out that they've been in with Diddy, which gets us kind of here. This wasn't Diddy. I was expecting more Diddy stories to pop up, so I called this Diddy Plus. But it's only the plus right now, unfortunately. There was no Diddy today. He didn't apparently know. It's a weekend, so we didn't find out about any additional rapings or stuff. Slow Diddy day, I guess. I don't know how we say it. Former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries, he pleads not guilty in a sex trafficking case. The ABC's reporting this. Who's in charge of ABC? I got to look that up one of these days, because I figure that's a name we should keep on the radar for the Epstein list, if you think about it. ABC is so bad. it's comical now. I mean, there's multiple stories that I don't share. If it's ABC, I instantly look. I'm like, oh, it's ABC, F you. Who's another one? CNN gets some play every once in a while. There's a couple of these guys, though. NBC's got to be careful. They're on very shady ground, sliding precariously away. Oh, NBC, you're so slow. You're going to die if you don't reach a hand out, but I'm not reaching to you first. All said, yeah, this guy's like, not guilty, though I'm sure he's been to Epstein Island. Just saying. Not that I know for sure. I'm alleging. It's alleged. And finally, Phil Lesh, one of the founding members and bassist for the band Grateful Dead. The brand? Yeah, I meant band. Grateful Dead. Yeah, bassist. Passed away. It'd be better not to read the thing. I'll probably be able to say it better to you. Maybe. Kind of sad. Dude was so skinny and scrawny. He's kind of like me. He had that total... Yeah, my hair just naturally grows to a mullet. So one thing my hair chick makes fun of me for all the time, she's like, you just naturally grow a mullet. And I'm like, I know, it's just a skill. She's like, it's not cool. I know, it's still a skill. Some skills aren't good. What are you going to do? I'm going to grow a mullet. That's what I'm going to do, damn it. All said, folks, making a difference. For those of you that are watching this, you obviously have probably already seen the live show. We're doing the community show in an hour from right now. I need to get that meeting sent out. But we are trying our best to make a difference going into this final battle. And I want all your help if you can. I just need you guys, to do your thing. I don't know what that is. It should feel good for you, but you're going to help you sleep at night. But we're going into an interesting time. Be good. Don't get emotional. Don't run out and do crazy shit. Hunker down. Be prepared. Be kind. Know who's who in your neighborhood. If crazy person shows up to your front door, don't friggin' open it. But if good person shows up to your door, panicked, yeah, let them in. They just probably got bit by a zombie. Make sure. So check them for wounds. Did you get bit by a zombie? Before, just question them. If they did, they're like, yeah, no, but I'm fine. And be like, nope, you're staying outside. Sorry, it's a zombie rule, right? I don't want to have to double tap your ass. So get out. That's how it's going to have to be. Know who's who. Know who's who. And you probably do. Where we go one, folks. Where we go one. That's you. We go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.